What's up, people? We are back with more of Eden. I actually played through this part already, and then something went horribly wrong with the recording, so I decided to just play through it again, because this is actually a really important part of the story, of course, and oh my god, prepare your tissues, guys, because it's going to be rather sad, but let's continue from here. I believe it was getting pretty intense with both Lavi and Ryou fighting, so yeah, let's continue. Lavi swapped to an underhanded grip and slowly closed the distance between us. I had my sidearm armed me, so I had an overwhelming advantage at our current range. No matter how keen her movement may be, there was no doubt I would be able to strike first and strike true. I wasn't lying when I said I admired you. I'm guessing you were the person important to me. I'm honored. So I'll be sure to stay away from your vitals. A menacing smile rose from her face. Pew! At the same time, I took aim at her thigh and squeezed the trigger, but Lavi must have saw it coming and nimbly moved out of the bullet's trajectory. It was naive of me to aim for her leg. Lavi promptly flicked her wrist without giving me time to regret my decision. The finesse with which she handled her knife was like witchcraft and sent chills down my spine. I couldn't tell where she drew it from, nor when she threw it, but before I knew it, a knife had pierced the back of my right hand. Damn! I turned and threw my pistol at Lavi's face. Like, screw it, I can't hit you with my bullets, I'll just throw my pistol at you. Of course, Lavi swatted it away, and with a quick snap of her hand. But in that split second, I pulled the throwing knife out of my hand and closed in on her. Haruna! Be it close combat or a knife fight, I had no intention of being defeated by anyone. And there was no time left for me to play around with this trickster. Lavi did not run away. In fact, she drew closer, brandishing yet another knife. How many knives does she have? She took aim at my carotid artery and let loose another speedy, bloodthirsty blade in the exact way I had expected. I ducked and sidestepped as Lavi's knife narrowly grazed the scruff of my neck. Our piercing stares met one another for but a moment. I firmly gripped the knife, took aim, and thrusted. The sensation of flesh being torn apart ran through my hand. Gah! Her quiet shriek was accompanied by a sudden spray of blood which danced through the air. Was it too shallow? Lavi's face warped in pain as she doubled back briefly. An endless stream of blood trickled from her wrist, but she still had a firm grip on her knife. I was hesitant to say that had been enough to take away her ability to fight. Don't you think you're taking me way too lightly? How so? Forget my wrist. You could have stabbed me in the stomach or anywhere you wanted just now. No, I'm sure with your skills, you could have killed me with your first shot. So why? Why didn't you? You're supposed to be a murder machine that's killed dozens and dozens of people. This is revolting. Lavi glared at me with bloodlust in her eyes. She didn't even glance at her wounded hand. Why was she so full of hatred? What had she gotten so angry at? A cool head was paramount in a fight to the death. Lavi knew better than to let herself be consumed by rage. Don't tell me you've gotten attached to me. If so, that was a terrible miscalculation. Don't disappoint me, Warrant Officer Haruna. I never knew you expected so much from me, Warrant Officer Lavi. I flung Lavi's blood from the knife with a light swing. Even a small knife like this would be enough to take a life. The more you kill, the more you come to realize just how fragile the human body really is. Lavi was strong and had lived through her fair share of carnage, but even then, she would be no match for me. If she was beginning to doubt herself and turn emotional in the middle of the battle, then she couldn't hold a candle against a machine like me. Yeah, I'm a mean, lean, fighting machine. I am sorry to interrupt, just when the two of you are really getting into it. Alicia. Both of us suddenly stopped as we heard the sound of Alicia's slow voice. Alicia was smiling sweetly despite the fact her face had clearly gone pale. Both of you should stop right this instant. I do not want to see you two quarreling like this. Show some deference to your elders here. You're the cause of all this. Levi was completely right. I don't want to fight Haruna either, but you, Miss Alicia. You went back to calling me Miss. Blushing, Levi took a step back, surprised at her own words. It was truthfully a shock. You always called me Miss Alicia, and then suddenly dropped the formalities a moment ago. That's because... Levi tripped over her own words, the knife still in hand. I picked up the handgun I had dropped. The murderous look on her face had almost completely faded, but I didn't want to drop my guard just yet. That's because what? Alicia was kind to a fault and urged Levi to continue. Because... Miss Alicia, I looked up to you like a sister. I couldn't be impolite to you. Why, Miss Alicia? The knife fell from her hand. She bit her lip, stared straight at Alicia, and sounded like she might cry any second. You have not done anything wrong, Levi. I was just selfish. You are not to blame. Alicia spoke gently and tried to console Levi. I love you, Miss Alicia, and Warrant Officer Haruna is the one who taught me to be strong. I don't want any of this to happen. Can't you tell I hate this? Levi had tried to stay faithful to her mission. That was only natural since she was a soldier. However, before she was a soldier, she was a human being. And because she was human, the knife fell from her hand. Of course I can. I also know you could not let me off the hook because of the Major, right? Levi nodded. You love everyone. That is why you falter and wonder what you can do to make everyone happy. I believe that is how you should be. Had everything been sorted out? Levi didn't seem to have any fight left in her, so all that was left was to escape. That wasn't going to be easy. There was almost no time left until the explosion. Oh right! I actually forgot about the explosion. Warrant Officer Haruna! Levi spoke to me aimlessly as she applied pressure to her wrist, dripping with blood. Do you intend to take Sion and leave this place? Yes. You'll make an enemy out of the entire world. Are you certain this is what you want? If this world is unable to grant the wish of a single girl, then I want no part in it. What a foolish way to live. You could have become an officer if you were to continue as Sion's guard too. I can't associate with such a fool. She spun around. Since the military is the only place I belong. That's what I once thought too. If only you had kept on believing that, then, Warrant Officer Haruna, I might have... Never mind. In the end, we're nothing but fools, you and I. Her quiet footsteps faded into the distance. Levi left without ever once looking back. I doubted it was my imagination that she looked a little lonely as she walked away. I walked back to Alicia's side. Alicia! Yes? Her tone was the same as usual, but she was sweating profusely. Her wounds, her thigh in particular, wouldn't stop bleeding. It was clear that not tending to her now would be a mistake. If I recall, you're trained in medicine, right? Yes, to some extent. In that case, you must have medical supplies somewhere. Where are they? I had only learned some first aid, but that had to be better than nothing. I should probably go find a medic, or a field doctor, although they've probably already escaped the compound by now. Could it be you intend to treat me? If so, you should not bother. Not bother? It seems I am going to die soon. Die? Alicia? It would appear that I did not have long in the first place. Now, having received this wound, this is hopeless. Wait, that's not... The end will not wait for anyone. I am sure you know that as well. Alicia, don't tell me. You already knew? So she had been lying about being in perfect health and there being no signs? It was hard to understand what was going on in her heart since she was always smiling so sweetly. But had Alicia been suffering through this all on her own? Who knows? Surprisingly enough, I do not know much about myself. Why? If she was going to die soon, then why? Why are you smiling? Because I believe this was for the best. More importantly, please, use this. What? Her hand trembled as she took a handkerchief from her pocket and handed it to me. Look, your hand is bleeding. It is quite deep. Please wrap this handkerchief around it for now. Alicia, her wound was far worse, so what was she doing? It must be hard to wrap it around yourself, so I will do it for you. Please hold out your hand. This is just a scratch. That is unacceptable. If you do not treat it properly, I will be very cross with you. Her eyes said she was serious. I held out my hand as requested. She took her time and wrapped the handkerchief around my hand. I am glad. So very glad. You didn't get any serious injuries. Not you, nor Levi. Alicia! My blood was already seeping into the handkerchief. Okay, all done. Be sure to bandage it up properly later. A door near us opened with a quiet click. Oh no, Sion! The girl who entered turned and looked at us with her deep, unfathomable gaze. Sion! Sion looked around the room, but her complexion changed when she noticed Alicia. Oh no, Alicia! We have said farewell to many companions. Surely you knew this day would come. It doesn't matter how many times I experience it. It's something I can never get used to. That is because you are too kind. Who did this? Sion asked as she looked at the knife in Alicia's side with an icy gaze. Stop. You mustn't ask that, Sion. But whoever did this to you... I knew, Alicia. I knew that you wanted to go outside far more than I ever did. You never mentioned it, or let it show on your face when you suffered, but... The truth is, you didn't want to be in a place like this, did you? You were always so lively. You wanted to run around the wide open world, free as a bird. If you tell me who took away your modest wish, I'll... Oh, so you figured me out. Alicia sounded a bit troubled, but gently shook her head. But... you mustn't blame them. Alicia smiled sweetly and kindly. You will soon be free. You will be free and have the time of your life. Your long-awaited freedom. You must not spending it hating someone. Do you not agree? Alicia. Yes, that's right. As touching as this moment was, there was little emotion behind their words. Even though the two of them had spent all of their lives together, even though they would never see each other again, their last words with each other were short and to the point. More importantly, how are things on your end? Jamming is in progress, and most of the facility's internal security has been disabled. So she was hacking into the security system. I was wondering what she was doing still holed up in her room as the self-destruct counted down. There shouldn't be any need to worry about external reinforcements for a while, but it is alright. I will not be able to come with you, but Ryou is here. Warrant Officer Haruna. Sion and Alicia looked my way. As I looked closely, I could see that their eyes were similar. Yeah, I'll take her from here, to somewhere nobody can reach her, somewhere where she can live in peace. See? Ryou will take care of you. Do not worry, Sion. Sion's luggage is all under her bed. I'm sorry to ask you, Ryou, but could you go and fetch it? Yeah, got it. And can you take my radio as well? If it becomes too much trouble, I will not mind if you throw it away. I got it, Alicia. I got it. Alicia waited for my nod, then gently looked at Sion. Sion, be sure to listen to what Ryou says. You mustn't be too selfish. Is this goodbye? I do not have enough strength or enough life left in me to follow the two of you. I am sorry. She put all she had into that last sentence. I knew those words were not directed at me. The 100 years Sion and Alicia had spent together had now ended. Let us leave. Yeah. Alicia, my big sister, I will not forget you. Whether the world should end or my spirit burns out, I will never forget. Yes, do not forget, my dearest Sion. Keep me in your memories forever. I wasn't sure if there was ever such a thing as a happy farewell, but there was something spiritual about the sight of those two girls sharing their final words with each other. There were no tears in Sion's and Alicia's eyes. Quite the contrary, the vibrant smile on Alicia's dying face made this parting feel as if it were filled with hope. I looked at my watch and checked how much time there was remaining. We could not afford to dawdle. Sion was running as hard as she could, but her speed was no faster than my own. There were moments when I wondered if I should take her hand just so we could pick up the pace. There shouldn't have been anyone left to get in our way, but even then, we couldn't tell them if we'd make it. Or we couldn't tell. First, we head to the Major's office. It would be great if he hadn't already jumped ship. Major Nava may seem careless, but he does have a sense of responsibility. I don't believe he will leave until all his subordinates have escaped. Everything should be alright if a genius has the same impression I do. Besides, we won't get far if we don't get our hands on him. The pass the Major had was essential to operating the one and only helicopter on this island. Even if we do steal this helicopter, who will be our pilot? I'm not exactly certified, but I've flown them twice already. I can't do anything fancy, but I think I can pilot it well enough so we don't crash. I'll pretend I didn't hear that last part. That's probably for the best. Indeed. There was no time to stand around and chat. I took a fleeting glance at the radio under my arm. We had to hurry for the sake of the one who had given us this opportunity as well. Warrant Officer Haruna. What? Why are you doing this for me? It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that we've only just met. It was a rare opportunity to see Sion looking baffled. It was also difficult for me to answer when she looked at me like that. I wanted to ask her what happened to her usual deadpan expression, but I had the feeling she wouldn't appreciate not getting a proper answer. That's why I told her the first thing that came to mind. Sometimes people just see a lonely person and think, I want to do something nice for them. My guess is, people who do that are lonely themselves. At least, That's what I think. So, you're lonely as well? When I joined the military, I felt as though I had found where I belonged, but I guess that wasn't enough on its own. What I truly wanted was something I left behind long, long ago. I was never able to get back what I lost, but I can protect you. I'll believe I'll be able to live without any regrets. Even though that might just be a delusion, people cannot trust what their own hearts tell them right away. However, you think the reason people live is to make those potential delusional emotions a reality? Sion chuckled and began to smile. It felt like this was the first time I saw a real smile from her. The simple fact that I was able to see this may have meant that what I was doing was worthwhile. Let's go, Sion. For the sake of a future without regrets. Yeah. We gently took each other's hand, like two kids about to dance together for the first time. Oh God, it's so romantic. The girl sat with her back against the wall and awkwardly fiddled with the portable terminal. As she had not used such a device for many years, she wasn't very efficient in cracking the code, but she still managed to do it. She read the message on the screen. It appeared that the detonation sequence had been successfully terminated. Despite everything, this is still the home where we were born and raised. I cannot blow it up. There was nobody there to hear her, but she felt like she had to say it. No, she may have said it out loud because there was nobody there to hear it. With this, Alicia's final task was complete. Now she could pass with no regrets. She was positive that the kind young man Natsume had once raved about would protect Sion to the bitter end. She could feel her heartbeat weakening little by little. The knives were still stuck in her, but Alicia could no longer feel the pain. All she felt was a sleepiness which was hard to defy, and the haze beginning to cloud over her mind. Sion, Natsume, Lavi, Ryou. An endless stream of faces flashed before her eyes. Memories of days long past danced before her, and she felt like she could hear a long-forgotten voice. She listened closely. That voice was calling her. It was a very, very kind and warm voice. The girl smiled and opened her mouth slightly. I'll be going now. It will be okay. I have no regrets. Yes, this was for the best. She mustered the last of her strength and reached out for the heavens. What lay beyond her quivering, outstretched hands? The heavens? In order to find out, her heart ascended to the sky. Wow. I took Sion's hand and kept running. She was running so hard, her legs were starting to fumble over each other. Although she did not have a body which would allow her to overexert herself, she could still push herself a little, at least for now. We had taken a bit of a detour after parting with Alicia, so there was little time remaining. The explosive device should have been disabled, but we had to get out of here before the soldiers returned. Oh no. We came to a stop. Freedom was practically a step away. So, you really were still here. It's the Major. It is the Major. A single man stood in our way. He wasn't particularly daunting, with an absent-minded expression on his face, like always. Well, I am still the man in charge. It'd be pretty uncool if I ran away at the first sign of trouble. You did it for appearances? What would become of a man who shows no concern for his appearance? That's like denying the meaning to one's own life. So the meaning of your life is to only look good on the outside? The Major grinned and shrugged his shoulders. He behaved the same as ever, despite the fact we were in a state of emergency. Come to think of it, 7 years ago, this man kept calm in front of my sister. Oh well, none of that matters. But you do have the perfect timing. You have the pass to the escape helicopter, don't you? I panicked when you weren't in your office, but your faithfulness to appearances turned out to be a real lifesaver. You mean this? Like magic, a small card appeared in the Major's hand. What's it worth to you? Just to put it out there, you can't put a price on life. Oh god, he means serious business. I let go of Sion's hand and pulled my handgun from its holster. Warrant Officer Haruna. We don't have time to joke around with him right now, I calmly asserted in response to her frail voice. But even with a gun pointed at him, the Major was the spinning image of calm. What happened to Alicia? She bought us time. I'm not going to let that go to waste, so I have no time to spare you for questions and answers with you. I see. So she passed on well, or as well. The Major appeared thoroughly composed, and he seemed to have expected Alicia's demise. But you've lost Alicia, so what will you do now? Where did you plan to go once you've run away? In case you've forgotten, this planet is doomed. There's not much time left, no matter where in this world you run to. You cannot avoid the end. Even if the world were to end tomorrow, I wouldn't give up now. How can you live in the present if you're afraid of the end? What I feared was not being true to myself and averting my eyes from that which is important. Everyone will die someday. I don't want to regret it when that day inevitably arrives. In that case, hurry up and go. What? The Major nodded slightly. If I stood in your way, I don't think Natsume would forgive me this time. In case you're wondering, the reason I lived until now was because I wanted Natsume's forgiveness. The same goes for me, Major. You weren't resented by Natsume. She loved you. You captured her heart, something I could never hope to do. Get going. You're the man Natsume chose. With all the strength you now possess, I'm sure you won't make the same mistakes I did. Major, you knew it would turn out like this, didn't you? You called me here in order to rescue Sion from this place. No way. I'm not a man who can see that far into the future. This is the wish that you, Alicia, and Sion chose and struggled so desperately to achieve. I won't stand in your way. After a tiny laugh, the Major stared far off into the distance. You asked me before what sort of relationship I had with Natsume. Yeah? I was an ordinary man you could find anywhere. I entered the military academy, just like my parents told me to, became a lieutenant, and came here. Then I met Natsume. I was assigned to protect her, just as you guarded Sion. I was attracted to that lonely-looking girl, hopelessly captivated, if you will. She was certainly something special. And although I knew how lonely she was, I couldn't do a thing for her. Absolutely nothing. Were those eyes of his reliving memories of the distant past? Memories I did not know. Memories of my sister when she was at this facility. Although they were my orders, why did I even bother to pursue Natsume? Why couldn't I just leave her in peace? No, I knew she wanted to go outside. I should have taken her with my own 2 hands. Just like you are now, Ryou. I'm not here to fulfill your wishes. I know, but that's just how I'd like to imagine it. I'd like to lighten my sins, even if it's just a little. Major Inaba's sins? Was this sin bringing her back to this facility? Everyone decides on their own just how much their own consciousness weighs on themselves, so I couldn't tell how guilty Inaba felt. My sister was no longer with us, so seeking forgiveness would be futile. I felt like I had to do something. I guess I'm pretty pathetic. I more than likely never once actually hated the Major. My anger at how hopeless I was likely far surpassed any resentment I ever felt for him. I couldn't hate this man, even though he took back my sister. Somewhere in my heart, I knew he felt much worse about what happened than anyone else, or perhaps I should say, worse than I did. I returned my gun to its holster. We're going now. Yeah, if you don't hurry up, everyone will be back. He grinned at me once more and handed me the pass. I accepted it silently. There was nothing more to be said. All that remained was to protect what I had been entrusted with. Major Inaba. Sion stepped forward soundlessly and faced the Major. Thank you for protecting me. I made it safely to this day because you were here. No, I was just doing my job. Besides, protecting you was just one way for me to atone, a means to deceive my own despair. So I should be the one expressing my gratitude. I was able to console myself, even if just a little, because you were here. Thank you very much. The Major gave Sion a flawless salute. Sion silently nodded in response. Let's go, Sion. Yeah. We began to run once more. We passed the Major and ran toward the door. Warrant Officer Haruna. Yes? I believe in you. This time, by my own volition. I believe you when you say you won't give up on the present. I believe in you completely. So, take me away to the ends of the world. Sure. I would never betray this girl who held so much faith in me. This girl who so willingly showed me her smile and gave me her trust. I would protect her in every way possible. Alicia, Levi, Major. We will do all we can to shake free of this sadness. We'll live up to everyone's hopes and dreams. Because we've chosen a future with no regrets. That bird was unbound from her chains and released from her cage. The bird is free. And then the world became theirs alone. One day, I heard the world shatter. The cracked road to the future was difficult to walk on. I fell many times, but I always made a point to stand back up. I will stand up as many times as it takes because you are here. Until the very day the world ceases to be, I won't be afraid to keep moving forward. Holy crap. What a sad, emotional episode that was. But at least that sort of chapter has come to an end. Like, we already knew it was sort of gonna end right from the beginning. Like, in the beginning, you already get this sort of sneak peek into both Sion and Ryou living alone. But you never really knew the events that led up to that moment, which was obviously everything that happened at the facility and such. So, and just that saying goodbye to Alicia, who basically sort of just sacrificed herself for us. I mean, obviously she said herself that she wasn't going to, her plan was never to blow it up. It's just basically a distraction, right? And yeah, dang, just that it wasn't just, it wasn't even just like this sort of escape, you know. It wasn't just Ryou running away against everyone else's wishes or something, or everyone else tried to stop him. It was actually with the blessing of a lot of people that Ryou did this. Like, both Alicia and Sion wanted this, of course, and then Levi sort of just let things slide, and then Major Naba just basically just said, like, yeah, you're going to be doing what I never could. So, dang, I'm just quite shaken up right now, because that was very, very emotional, and I'm gonna miss, the one I'm definitely going to miss is probably Alicia-chan. I mean, she was so nice and so friendly. Oh, I'm gonna miss her, but the story goes on, and we're gonna continue in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the very next video. Peace!